Okay, we are going to talk about factoring out the greatest common factor. You guys remember what factors are?
Yeah.
Like factors of 10. You know, factors of 10. Factors of 10. That would be like 1 times 10, 2 times 5, and that's it, right? That's as far as I can go.
Like a fact family.
And so it's a factor family, right? So like sometimes when they ask for factors of 10, you probably go like, often they'll put them in order. They'll say 1, comma, 2, comma, 5, comma, 10. Those are your factors of 10, right? Now, when you talk about common factors, you're talking about factors that they both have in common, right? So if I had 15, factors of 15, that would be like 1 times 15 or 3 times 5, right? So if I wrote it like this, I would do 1 comma 3 comma 5 comma 15. Which do they have in common besides the 1?
They have four factors.
They both have 4 factors,
5.
and they both have a factor that is the same number, other than 1. 1 never really changes anything. If I factor out a 1 out of 10, I get a 10. It doesn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? So you don't never worry about factoring out a 1, because you're getting the same thing you already have. But the 5 is in common. Look, they both have a 5. So that would be my common factor for these two numbers, okay? So those are the kinds of things we're going to be looking for when we start factoring out the greatest common factor. So factoring out the greatest common factor is the reverse. It's the reverse of the distributive property. We're just going to go backwards. Distributive property. We're just going to go backwards. So for example, let's say we did 2 times 3x minus 4. That's already factored. That's what we want. That's where we want to go. This is where we're going to want this to, the problems that we're going to get. If I multiplied this out using the distributive property, I would get 6x minus 8. You guys agree with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the kind of problem you're going to get on the homework. You're going to get this, and you have to go back to this. Does that make sense?
So you gotta find like a factor that you can divide by for both of them?
You have to, exactly. You have to find something that goes into both of these. And ideally, you want it to be the biggest something that's possible that goes into both of those. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 2
I mean-
is the biggest.
Right, 2 is the biggest in this case. So I would say, okay, I'm going to factor, I know 2 goes into 6. I could divide 6 by 2. I could divide 8 by 2. So when I know that, then when I know that number I can divide both things by, I write that number. You with me? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I put a parenthesis. Okay? And then what I have to do is I have to sort of think backwards. I have to think, well, 2 times what is 6? 3, and then there's an x that tags along, right? You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
2 times what? 2 times 3 is 6. So 3x minus 2 times what is 8? 4, right?
That seems very difficult.
Not really.
Well, there's 2 ways to think about it. I just did it one way, where I say 2 times what is this? 2 times what is this? Right?
Right.
Or you could say, okay, what is 6 divided by 2? 6 divided by 2 is 3x. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. So you can either do multiply or divide. You can think of it either way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're going to practice a bunch, and you're going to see. Okay? And then they're not going to get any harder than this today. This is it. This is it. But we have to practice them so you get comfortable. So here, So let's erase this mess, and let's just do a few. So let's say I had 5x plus 5. I'm looking for, this is my first example, or first practice. 5x plus 5. What number goes into 5 that also goes into 5?
5.
Oh my God! You guys are brilliant! Alright, so I know I can divide this by 5 and I can divide this by 5. So I write my 5 here. I write what I'm going to divide it by, and I put my parenthesis. And now I'll use the other method. I'll say 5, I'm dividing this 5 out of this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So 5 divided by 5 is what?
One.
1. And I can write 1x or I could write x. It doesn't matter. They're the same thing.
That's fine.
Okay?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You with me? And then plus, I prefer to write just x instead of 1x. And then plus 5 divided by 5 divided by 5 is
So like
Another
1. There you go. We're done. But always check it, especially on a test. Always check. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 1 is 5. Yes, we're right. We did it. Okay? Make sense? Okay, let's try another one. 2. How about 2x minus 16?
2.
2 goes into 2, and 2 goes into 16, right? So we know we could divide a 2 out of this. So you're going to write the 2 that you're going to divide out of it. You're going to do this parenthesis, and then you're going to do 2 divided by 2 is 1, and the x tags along, so I'll just say x.
Minus 8.
Minus 8, you got it. Totally, right on. All right, let's try another one. 3. What if I gave you, let me think for a second. How about I gave you 8x minus 16?
8.
8.
All right, so is 8 the only number that goes into these both?
No.
2 goes into both of them.
Would that simplify?
4 goes into both of them.
But 8's the biggest.
8 goes into both of them. So which one do we try?
8.
Yeah, it says the greatest, and greatest in this case does not mean the coolest, right? Like me. It's like, you know,
Wow.
it means the biggest. Wow? Did you say wow?
No. 8 looks simple.
Okay, so greatest means the very biggest, right? The biggest factor. That's what you're looking for. So yeah, so it wouldn't be 2 because 2 goes into these, but it wouldn't be enough.
And it would simplify.
4 wouldn't be enough, but 8, we'd have to keep going if we had done the 2. We'd have to simplify it further. So I'd rather choose the biggest number. 8 goes into both of these. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my 8 here in my parenthesis, and then I'm going to do 8 divided by 8 is 1. So that's x, 1x, minus 16 divided by 8 is 2. You guys getting this? It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy, really. And then how about 4? Let's try this one. What if I gave you 10x minus 25? 5 goes into both of those, right? 10 doesn't.
No.
So it looks like 5 is, so 5. So we'll write our 5. We're gonna divide everything by 5. So 10 divided by 5 is what? 2. So I write my 2. The x has to tag along. And then minus 25 divided by 5 is 5. Beautiful. Done. See how easy they are?
Yep.
So can I just end the lecture now? And then we'll
Yeah.
practice a few?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
No.
Very cool. All right.